Dave, what did we achieve last week? How good was that for the team to have a chance to kind of recalibrate?
No, I think it was great just to obviously the loss was very disappointing. So we discussed one or two things that we learned about it, and then also just to reconnect as a squad. At some stage you sort of go into these special games, these big games, and it's a group of players that's playing, a group of players that's helping you to prepare. So we sort of broke it down and just got together as a squad again, I think obviously seeing everyone this morning, after a bit of a break as well. The energy is quite high, so excited to get back into things.
Ospreys have been pretty good this season. So they beat Sale in their round of 16 game. They've obviously got like quite a good vibe there. So not going to be just a walkover game at home.
No, definitely not. I mean, they're a proud club. Dawie is a great guy, and he's very passionate. So he'll definitely want to come here and do well. So we'll respect that, and we'll have to prepare well this week.
Cool. Dan, we had 3 home games, the 2 URC games and then the Champions Cup, and we had well over 20,000 for each. Well, do you feel like you've got some really good support recently?
Yeah, I think the Stormers fans, faithful, always give good support. I mean, to come back from, I think we're quite a long period away from home, to come back to a couple of, call it packed stadiums, fairly full stadiums, contributed, I think, a lot to our performances recently. Obviously fell short against Rochelle, but the atmosphere in the stadium was amazing.
And now we've got 2 home games, and it's 3 home games left for the rest of the season. Obviously, want to make the most of that this weekend.
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously at a crucial point of the season at the moment. Looking to obviously get home playoff spots, and the other teams will be looking for that as well. So if we can get 5 points wherever we can, that's going to be really important to contributing towards a home playoff come the end of the season.
Okay, guys. If you want to put your hands up, questions for these guys?
Hi, Dan. Ari this side. Just related to 12 and 13. Just playing mostly 12 and 13 a few games now. Just your thoughts on adjustment and how you see that.
Ari, it's been. I think in my opinion, I think I prefer 12, but I'm also happy to play 13 and whatever the team needs. I think Damien is obviously also a very versatile player, and pretty much holds his standards wherever he plays in the backline. So we've been obviously working that out. I think it's starting to come nicely together, and we're starting to find each other a bit more. I think one is as well been nice to play. I've only had one game next to him, but it's been nice to play with him and interlink with him as well.
Thanks. And maybe just playing against Leinster and also Rochelle and those teams, and just intensity playing against those international centres, Dantry and all those guys. Do you feel that step up helps you guys to develop into better players as well?
Yeah, no, of course. I think for myself personally, you always want to play against the best players and players that have whatever 50, 100 international caps. I think obviously La Rochelle was a incredibly physical game and intense. There's a lot of it. I mean, the centres are big boys, and there was obviously a team like Leinster. Obviously, we haven't had their first, call it the best team that they've played in the Champions Cup. We haven't been able to face that, but I mean that's something that you hope that they bring when they come down. You want to face the best players and their internationals, experienced internationals.
Last question just for Dawie. Thanks, Dan. Dawie, just lots of talent in the backline, lots of options. How do you feel related to players in certain positions and working on versatility as well, finding that balance, like with Dan?
Yeah, no, I think it's important what you say is the balance, and the combinations. Obviously we know some guys got preferred positions, but at some stages we want the best players on the field. So I think it's important to get the mixture right and the combinations right, so that we can create flow, and that's always going to be important for us as the back. So
Cool.
Thanks. Best for Saturday. Thanks.
Thanks, Ari. Cheers. Stephen is next.
Hallo daar, gaan dit daar so?
Dankie, Steven.
Daar was 'n paar manne met hoofpyn gedurende en na die wedstryd teen La Rochelle. Het die ouens harsingskudding toetse gedoen en hoe lyk almal?
Ja, ek dink dit lyk eintlik goed. Steven, gelukkig het ons nie gelukkig nie, ongelukkig was ons nie betrokke die naweek nie. Dit het gehelp met 'n ekstra paar dae, jy weet, so hulle is sover deur al die protokolle en ja, sover is almal nog op koers. So dit lyk goed in terme van die ouens wat kopstampe gekry het.
En behalwe nou vir Leolin en het julle en Dion, het julle enige ander ouens beserings opgedoen het?
Nee,
Die naweekie.
ja, dit was maar net, soos jy sê, hier en daar stampinstote en ja, maar het is maar net daai twee wat nou ongelukkig bietjie meer vir 'n langer tyd langs die kantlyn gaan wees.
Nou, dis miskien 'n bietjie van 'n siniese beskouing, maar ek dink ook realisties, is dat dit waarskynlik 'n beter kans om die Ospreys te klop, danksy die feit dat julle hierdie wedstryd teen La Rochelle verloor het. Want dit beteken dat julle nie hoef te reis nie.
Ja, ek dink is
jy ook dit,
ja, sorry, ek kan nog klaar vra.
nee, ek het net gewonder of jy ook dink die manne sal baat by die feit dat hulle, jy weet, verfris is en dat hulle nou nie daai vermoeiende reistog via Dawie sal moet aanpak nie.
Ja, ek dink Steven is nog als deel van die proses om te leer in die toernooie, jy weet, ons wil graag diepte bou dat jy in al twee kompetisies kan deelneem en sukses hê in al twee kompetisies, jy weet, so ja, die reis is dalk goed, maar ons sou baie graag wou gespeel het, jy weet, laas naweek, so ons het daai verloor teen La Rochelle baie persoonlik gevat, jy weet, is ja, met die topspan in Europa en ons wil graag daar kompeteer, jy weet, en ons was baie naby, jy weet, so as ons nou swaarder moes gekry het in Ospreys, dan was dit maar die feit, maar dan het ons dalk ons diepte ook getoets op 'n manier, jy weet, so wen en verloor scenario, maar dis iets wat ons maar nog moet leer en kyk hoe kan mens jouself in posisies plaas dat jy weet goed kan doen in al die kompetisies, want dit is belangrik vir ons.
Kom ons kyk na die vertoning self en na die prosesse, jy weet, eerder as die uitkoms, want ek weet ouens is nie, jy weet, altyd net uitkoms fokus nie. Hoe het julle oor die prosesse gevoel, want daar's die siening ook al uitgespreek dat dit was miskien een van julle beste vertonings van die seisoen, al het julle nou nie die wedstryd gewen nie.
Ja, ek dink as mens gaan kyk was ons regtig die eerste helfte was ons baie goed gewees, jy weet, om 16-0 was 13-0 gewees halftyd, het goeie rugby gespeel het en toe het ons goeders waar ons laasweek gepraat het, daar was oomblikke wat ons momentum teruggegee het vir hulle, weet, en dit is 'n kwaliteitsspan, jy weet, daai topspanne, as jy vir hulle momentum gee, weet, hulle het manier om dit te hou en hulle kan druk op jou sit deur weer terug te veg in 'n wedstryd en punte aan te teken, jy weet, so terwyl van die proses en wat ons geleer het daaruit, was dit baie goed dink ek vir ons as 'n groep. Wys ook ons kan saam met die groot ouens hardloop, weet, ons is ook nie bang gewees om enigiemand te speel nie, of maak saak waar dit is nie, by die huis of weg. Selfs die resultate wat mens die naweek kon gesien het, jy weet, Harlequins wat gaan wen het teen Bordeaux, dit is 'n span wat ons al geklop het, jy weet, en Bordeaux is 'n span wat baie goed doen in die top 14, jy weet, so ek gee ons baie vertroue, en obviously leer ons ook uit die proses uit.
And just from a player's perspective, how did you guys feel about the game against La Rochelle? Dawie said now that it was taken quite personally, but from just looking at it from various angles, how did the players feel about that performance?
Yeah, I think after the game, I think somebody, I can't remember who said it, but they summed it up quite well. It was actually Dawie, he said he's really proud of what we did today, but but he can't help but be disappointed in what we threw it away essentially. And I think that was kind of the feeling. Obviously, I hate losing. I think everyone in the team hates losing. But there was a sense of, there was something to be proud of. Like Dawie said, competing and playing against one of the top teams in Europe. But essentially, we don't just want to compete. We want to beat those teams at the end of the day.
Just on a personal note, if I think now the way you guys have been performing, I mean, last season, one would have said that you and Ruan, I think, were probably one of the best center combinations, in the tournament. You've been performing, really well in the URC. You haven't got that recognition yet at national level. I was looked at the recent squad, and I think to myself, but hang on, where's Dan? He's playing so well. So, are you still ambitious about what you can potentially achieve for the Springboks, or are you sort of kind of feel maybe it's almost like it's passed you by almost? How do you feel about that, the whole Springbok issue?
Yeah. No. I think I'm definitely still have the same ambitions. It's always been to play for the Springboks, and I think as long as that stays my goal, I'll keep improving and working week in and week out to get to that point where I can hopefully finally be in a squad or part of a Springbok setup. I think guys like Dion, obviously everyone knows he's shown us that it's never too late to be called up into a Springbok squad. I mean, I think he was 36 or around there when he got his first call up and ended up going to a World Cup and winning a World Cup. So I think never give up on that, and obviously still working every week to maybe get into there.
And just in terms of the homework that you guys have been doing on the Ospreys, what would you, as a player, expect to face this weekend? Yeah,
I think they're, as you said earlier, or somebody said earlier, they've actually been performing pretty well. I think they had a slow start to the season, and then their recent performances have actually been very good. They beat Sale, they've beaten, I think, Ulster as well recently. So I think you can't go into this game underestimating them. We obviously had the week off last week. We didn't do too much training, and it's obviously only Monday today, so all the hard work and analysis is still going in. But I think we can expect they're very good technically, and they have a good kicking game, and I think they'll bring a lot of physicality to the game as well.
And Dawie, just on the Ospreys, obviously North injured, it takes quite a big player out of their backline. Also, I think Jack Morgan's also out. So, do you feel that could impact on the game, the fact that you take such a presence away from them?
Yeah, it's always like I say, big players, if they're not available, it makes a difference. But like I said, we want the best guys that's available to play, and we'll sure whoever they select will do a good job. So I think a lot of their game is around the forward pack. So first we have to do the job there before we need to worry about what's going in the back. The well coached up front, got a good set piece. So yeah.
Just to embarrass Dan with this question, just your thoughts on Dan's ability still to maybe take a step further to international level.
Sorry, on his ability?
Yeah, I have to answer.
He wants
to talk about you in front of you. No, I think it's. I definitely believe Dan will get his opportunity at some stage. Just the amount of work that Dan does in a week, it's phenomenal. he drives the team, not just on the field, off the field, he drives standards, so, and like you said, he's playing great rugby, so, and it's also us as coaches' responsibility to make sure that we give the players the best opportunity, in terms of their skill sets and their decision making to make sure they perform, and then when they get the opportunity to go all the way. So, quite excited for Dan, and I really hope he can get an opportunity, because I think if he's in that jumper, they're going to struggle to get him out of it.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys.
Nice one,
Thanks,
Stephen.
Thanks.
Guys, is there anyone else with a question? I see Warren has got his hand up. Yes, Warren.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Dawie. Hi, Dan. Dawie, just going back on Stephen's question on Dean Fourie and Dylan Zas, to perhaps know the full extent of the injuries and the specific time frame.
Yeah, Dion will be quite long term. He already had an operation, and then Zas, hopefully playoffs. He didn't have to go for any surgery, so hopefully he'll be back in that time.
Thank you.
Cool. Gavin Rich. Yes, Gavin.
Yeah, hi guys. Sorry, it was just seeing Dan sitting there made me think of something else that I was wondering about the other day. Jean-Luc, is he? Because the last time we saw him, I think it was against the Bulls. Was it the Bulls before? I think it was the Bulls before Christmas. And I don't know whether he's fit or he's training or not, or whether he's available for selection. I was just wondering on where he is at the moment.
Yeah, he's actually available. He had a bit of a groin problem. That's why he played that first half against the Bulls and couldn't go on because of the game. But
It's 12,
yeah, he played at 12. He's actually coming from Dan now at the moment. So, so it's quite heated between the du Plessis cousins when we're training. So but he's actually looking great. He's in good form, and maybe get a shot as soon as possible.
Okay. Cool. Thanks a lot. Just checking out. Thanks.
All right, Gavin. Was that it? Stephen, have you got another question, or is your hand still just up from earlier?
Yeah, sorry, it's just a continuation from what Gavin asks. Kosan, is he still in the mix?
Yeah, he's also had a calf injury, so he's back fully at training now. So obviously does help with us not being available.
Thanks very much, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
guys.
Cool.
Just one more, Mark.
Yes, Gavin, no problem.
Yeah, cool. Just looking at your, because not missing out on having to go to Dublin this last week wasn't the only thing. You obviously don't have to travel for a semi-final, which might have been the case had you gone as far as you want to. Do you now have you have a situation now where you've got 2 weeks, and then you've got another 2 weeks before you, if I remember correctly, you're going on tour. Do you sort of I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I think periodize. In other words, you look at these 2 weeks as a sort of as a standalone, and then you've got a 2 week break before you go overseas, and you can sort of make maybe new plans for overseas. In a way, it sort of works. I mean, you're not being part of the Champions Cup at this stage does have its benefits.
It does give you some breathing space, definitely. So before, I think we got a week off before we have to go to Dragons, which is a Friday game. You would have been under pressure if you had to travel up and down. So it gives us a bit more time to prepare and rest the bodies. But it's something that we actually want to really compete in both sides. So we want to try and build our squad so that we can, like I said, fight on both fronts. But we're learning from it, and we'll take the advantage that we have now at the moment of that.